We get a lot of stories sent in, but let me tell you, this one is something else. It comes to us from a subscriber named Kushi, and it's this incredibly terrifying first-hand account of how a fresh start turned into a literal fight for her life.
This is the line that it stopped me in my tracks. Before we even dive into what happened, Kushi tells us this. It immediately lets you know that the stakes here aren't just about strange noises or spooky feelings. We're talking about life and death.
All right, so let's set the scene. It's November of 2022. Kushi is driven, she's ambitious, and she moves to the city of Guwahati to buckle down and study for her medical entrance exams. She finds what seems like a great place to stay, a paying guest accommodation, a PG, really close to her classes.
Now, Kushi gets a room on the top floor, but you have to understand this wasn't your average top floor. It was weirdly cut off from the rest of the building. You had to go down this long, grilled corridor to get to it. It almost felt like its own separate, kind of creepy wing of the house.
And right away, almost immediately, the red flags start popping up. A friend of hers says something vague, that there's something unusual about that area. Kushi herself, who says she's pretty sensitive to this stuff, feels a strange energy in that exact corridor. And maybe the creepiest warning of all comes from her own mother on their very first visit. And it wasn't just some vague, I've got a bad feeling kind of thing. No, her mom points to a specific spot on that top floor, an area that looked out over a garbage dump, and tells her point blank, don't come here at night. The fact that she singled out one particular place, that's just chilling.
So you've got the mornings, you've got this strange vibe, but Kushi's there to study, right? So she tries to just push through it. But it only takes a few days before her health takes a nosedive for no reason, and the PG starts to show its true colors in a much more terrifying way.
So get this, Kushi described this roommate as a complete introvert, always cranky, never talked to anybody. So for Kushi to wake up one morning and see this same girl just sitting in the corner of the room, not moving, not saying anything, just staring at her, that is beyond unnerving. It's the first real sign that something is actively and seriously wrong.
Kushi's not feeling well at all, so she leaves her room. She's feeling super dizzy as she walks down that isolated corridor towards a common mirror. When she gets there, she sees she has a little nosebleed. Nothing crazy. She gets them sometimes because of sinus issues, so she doesn't think much of it. She just goes to wipe away a couple drops of blood.
And the instant her hand touches her face, it is completely covered in blood. We're not talking a trickle, we're talking a flood. The shock is so intense, she lets out a scream, her other roommate comes running out, and the second Kushi sees the look of pure horror on her friend's face, she just collapses, faints right there on the floor.
After that nightmare, her family, of course, yanks her out of that PG immediately and takes her back home to Jagir Road. They all think, okay, phew, she's safe now. But here's the thing, she wasn't running from a place, she was running from a presence, and it had followed her.
And just look at how fast things go downhill from there. The first day home, everything's normal. By the next morning, she's gone completely silent, this girl who was usually super talkative. By that afternoon, she faints, and her jaw clenches so tight her family can't even open her mouth. And by the third day, the real horror of what was going on becomes crystal clear.
While she's in one of these strange states, she points towards the door of her own bedroom and says this. This is the first time she actually says something. It's confirmation that this isn't just a feeling anymore. There is something unseen, something malevolent right there in the house with them, and she can see it.
Soon after that, Kushi faints again, and this time, it's so bad her family literally thinks she's gone. They think she died. In a moment of pure desperation, her father runs to their family temple, grabs a little idol of the god Hanuman and puts it in her hands. And the effect is immediate. She just calms down, her eyes open. This is the first clue that this is a spiritual war.
So now the family knows. They're not dealing with some mystery illness. They are in a fight with an entity. What follows is just this frantic search for answers, taking them to one spiritual healer after another, all while this thing's grip on Kushi just gets tighter and tighter.
And the attacks start getting physical, but in this really twisted way. Her family starts finding these deep cuts on her hands and arms, but Kushi has zero memory of how they got there. The presence isn't just haunting her mind anymore, it's using her own body to hurt her.
And the attacks were just relentless. She started getting violently ill at her coaching center every day. She had these vivid nightmares of an old man performing spells on her. She'd see dark shadows moving past the kitchen window. And maybe the most disturbing part, she would wake up with handprints on her body, like someone had grabbed her while she slept.
Can you just imagine how confusing this must have been for her family? Every healer they go to gives them a different and, frankly, more terrifying explanation. The first says it's an old energy that's angry it can't possess her. The second says it's a male spirit sent by someone to hurt her. The third just says it's too powerful to get rid of. They're trying to fight an enemy they can't even properly identify.
So this leads the family to their breaking point, their last-ditch effort. With Kushi's health just getting worse, they turn to a priest who also happens to be a distant relative, hoping, praying for a final answer and a way to end this.
And this priest, someone they trust, he takes one look at Kushi and basically confirms their worst fears. He agrees with that third diagnosis. The thing attached to her is incredibly old and powerful. He tells them the only reason it hasn't completely taken her over is because of her own strong faith.
And then he drops this bombshell. And honestly, this is without a doubt the most unsettling part of this entire story. The priest tells the family that while he can do a ritual for protection, the only way to ever be truly, completely free of this entity is through physical intimacy with another person.
So, he does what he can. He performs a purification ceremony and gives her a locket, telling her she can never ever take it off. This locket, it's like a shield that keeps the entity from overpowering her. But, and this is the key, it doesn't get rid of it. It's a permanent defense, not a cure. The entity is still there.
And that's where Kushi's story leaves us. She's protected, but she isn't free. This presence is still attached to her, held back by a tiny locket and this deeply disturbing condition for its removal. And it just leaves you with this final, really chilling question to think about.